So Glenn, thank you for inviting us here to your showroom today, and congratulations on your show. Can you talk about the show and your thoughts around how you started with your collection?
Well, thank you first of all for coming to the show and the showroom. So yeah, this season, spring summer for me was quite important because, as I think you know also, I think YPROJECT went through like quite a big change since the moment I arrived 4 seasons ago and now today. So I think since last winter we really confirmed the identity of the brand, and for me now this spring summer was also the first time I could also put some personal touches in it. So I really base myself back to my basics. So my basics are Bruges. I'm a guy from Belgium, Bruges, which is a tiny medieval town, and I really tried to include very subtle references to Gothic architecture and to also the painters we had in Bruges, the Flemish primitives. We have like little subtle touches of them included in the collection.
So this season you mixed your origins from Bruges into the DNA of the YPROJECT house.
Indeed, exactly. So, I mean, the DNA is still what it is. I mean, we're a very strong masculine kind of label. I think that's what most people see in us. So it's quite rough. The woman's wear also she's like quite present. She's a tough woman. Of course, now we also add a bit more of youthful joy in it, since obviously I'm also a kid of the 90s, so I think there's a whole 90s reference and a whole clubbing reference and acid reference, and which is really like very visible in there. The sleeves, for example, or very basic pieces like for me the bomber. At the end, it's a bomber. We all know bombers, but then we cut it open a bit like in a reflection of a Gothic cathedral almost. We have like cuttings which give like some verticality and add a bit of like elongation in the silhouette.
And this is menswear, but you also brought in some women's pieces. Can you talk about them too?
Well, we've always been a bit of a brand which mixed both of them. Especially now this season, what we did, we added of course women's wear, but it's really, the women's wear is really based on the menswear. So it's always a prolongation of the men's silhouette.
Can you talk about the mark you have here?
So this is Hans Memling. Hans Memling is one of my personal favorites from the Flemish school, 1430 to 1494. Amazing painter, and I thought that would be quite fun to just add this history a bit in this contemporary brand.
I would actually love if you can talk about the pieces, individually. Like you can choose some.
Okay, so obviously my favorite silhouettes would be more this kind of sleeves, which are these architectural sleeves, quite constructed. I do love them because at the end they're also quite basic. They really they're very prominent, but like you roll them up and they really become like this oversized shirt you buy in a second-hand shop from the 80s. The collection makes a statement. It's a certain kind of person we actually propose, but the pieces themselves are very open to a personal interpretation. So it's really how you want to wear it. The pants, for example, they're double layered. If you want, you can take them off and you have like a cropped pant or short pants. If you want to play with drapings, and you can really have a little bit more of a romantic or messy feeling. But yeah, that's I think what is nice. Also, I think the freedom we have now in 2015 is that everything is accessible and you can do whatever you want, and that's why I think it's really nice to reinforce individuality, and that's what we try to do.